Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is 7 Branch Candlesticks. My name is Lee, and sitting next to me is Nick.
What it do?
How you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing perfect, man. Thank you. Thank you for letting me come back, man. You know?
Of course, man. The last podcast we did was awesome, so
Yeah, it was, man.
figure, man, I had to let you come back for another.
I just gotta like slow down like a little bit on like my talking, but I guess I did good. That's what like a lot of people
No,
said.
man,
So it was good.
you did great, man.
And it was nice to meet you too last time. Bro.
Today, when I reached out to you, said, "Hey, man, when do you want to come and do another podcast?" And you're like, "Let's do it today." I was like, "Okay." We really didn't even have time to come up with a topic, but I thought, this person today with me, and I'm not going to say any names, but this person was arguing with me online.
Oh yeah.
And they were arguing about the Sabbath was only given to the Jews.
Ooh.
That's what this person said. The Sabbath was made for the Jews only. I have a problem with that because basically Mark 2:27 says that Sabbath was made for mankind.
Yeah, and it's basically saying that you got to be like born, like you got to have a bloodline to be
right. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
Jesus took down those walls of separation.
There'd be like a lot of people that would be going to like yeah, like to the abyss if like that was true, you know what I'm
right?
saying? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
You know, the Bible tells us, Paul says that there's neither Jew nor Greek. And what he's saying is, now if you are Christ's, then you're Abraham's seed and you're heirs according to the promise, which means that you spiritually are a Jew, you're spiritually Jewish. If you're Christ's, you're no longer are these walls of separation up. Christ took those walls of separation down.
Yep. Yeah, and like another thing though, I like about that because like Jewish people, like they're God's special people, man. Like they're made out here, like their purpose is to like change the world to make it like better. Like that's their purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? Like 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 God's special people. They
were the people that were supposed to bring the light to the world, right?
Exactly.
But what did they do? They rejected the Messiah.
Yeah, they did, man. And like they were. And like they were God, like they had like their mission on earth was to like exactly what you said too, and also they're very important too because you got to think about it, like the 12 tribes of Judah is engraved on the heaven gates, man. Like
absolutely. And if we're talking about that, you look at the sanctuary, and inside the sanctuary when you enter into the holy place, not the most holy place, but the holy place, on the right side, right when you enter, you have the table of showbread. And what do you have on the table of showbread? You have 2 stacks of 6 pieces of bread, 12 pieces, representing the 12 tribes of Judah.
Yeah.
Right? And it's also interesting that there's 2 stacks of 6, right? And there's 66 books of the Bible.
Yeah.
And the bread represents the word of God. And there's 66 books in the Bible, 2 stacks of 6.
Yo, it's so crazy, man. Like one day, man, we just need to nerd out, man, and just like start adding up. Like I just like like there's a whole bunch of like like all that stuff adds up, man. It has to be like just like there's no
think about this. 144,000 are the people in the end times that are living, perfectly.
You're right.
Before Christ comes. Those are God's God's chosen people, His sealed people in the end times. 144,000. What's 12 times 12?
144.
So 12 times 12, 144,000. You see where it's adding up? These numbers are not coincidental.
Oh man, not at all.
The 144,000. There's 12 tribes of Judah. There's 12 gates.
Wow.
To enter into heaven. There's 12 pieces of bread in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolic numbers.
Yeah.
Throughout the Bible.
Yeah. I'm glad that like you brought that up because a lot of people like sometimes they like take it like literal sometimes, you know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of like symbolism and like parables that like, Jesus uses too. But it's just interesting.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, can you pull up, do you have a Bible app on your phone? Actually, just go to Google and type in Isaiah, and I think it's chapter, let me do Isaiah 56, it might be 56. Maintain justice and do what is right, for my salvation is close at hand and my righteousness will soon be revealed. Blessed is the one who does this, the person who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath without desecrating it, and keeps their hands from doing any evil. Let no foreigner who is bound to the Lord say, the Lord will surely exclude me from his people. And let no eunuch complain, I am only a dry tree. For this is what the Lord says, to the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths, who choose what pleases me and hold fast to my covenant, to them I will give my temple and its walls, a memorial, and a name better than the sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that will endure forever. Now listen to this in verse 6. And foreigners who blind themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord and to be his servants, all who keep the Sabbath without desecrating it. So here it's talking about the foreigners.
And like he said, he just said all. He said all. So
and to the foreigners, who are the foreigners? They're the Gentiles.
Yeah.
They're the Gentiles. So right here, he's telling the Gentiles to keep his Sabbath, and he's saying to all the foreigners. And it says here, all who keep the Sabbath without desecrating it and who hold fast to my covenant, these I will bring to my holy mountain and give them joy in my house of prayer. It's clear as day.
Yeah, it's clear as day, and it's like it's so like I'm so blessed that like you've like showed me like the importance of like the Sabbath, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the true Sabbath, because like look, he mentions it all the time, man. You know, like what you pay attention. It's important, like to keep that day holy, man. Like
absolutely, and people, you know, they always say that. They always try and put up that wall of separation that Christ took down. I mean, if you look back then, the Jews and the Gentiles, they hated each other. They were like racist against each other.
Yeah.
The Jews, the Israelites, they thought of the Gentiles as dirty, disgusting beings. And the Gentiles, of course, are not dirty, disgusting beings.
Yeah.
And the Gentiles thought of the Jews the same way. Yeah. You know, they didn't like each other. Satan, he's hard at work. When Christ came, he ate with Jews and Gentiles.
Right.
He didn't just eat with one or the other. And those walls of separation, he was showing this. He was demonstrating that God is everybody's God.
100, man, 100.
And it's not just the Jewish people who need rest.
See, that's 100. And like he decided to be born in a manger, like around a bunch of farm animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and
right.
like basically like you know, like he could have been born on like the nicest palace, like the most grandest palace in the whole world, but he decided to be born in a major, you know, and in my opinion, like I think he did that so he could like relate to like poor people, man, like the meek.
Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah. He absolutely did.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, he was born. And here's another thing. I think about this: he was born in a manger amongst farm animals, right?
Yeah,
and he himself was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
right. You know, he was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, exactly.
A spotless lamb.
Yeah, man.
You know. The same, you know what type of lambs that were sacrificed back then? They were spotless lambs because they represented Christ.
Wow.
You
yeah,
know?
And it's like, and like plus like the 99 sheep, or like the 99 sheep, man, and like right there he's all like, you know, if there's like, you know, okay, well we, you know, let's say you got like 100, you know, heads of sheep, and it's like, well, you know, like I only got like 99. No, but Jesus went and found that one sheep and like brought him, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's kind of how like, that's like the symbolism of like what our mission is too, man. Like we're not going to leave like, just like the one behind. Okay. We got like 1,000 followers. Nah, man, we're going to go find that. We're going to go find them all until we, you know, round them up. So like, yeah, dude, absolutely.
And do you ever think when people start talking about that, hey, you know, the Sabbath was only made for the Jews. Do you ever think, why would God only give this beautiful day of rest where we rest from the world and we spend a day with him?
Yeah.
Why would he only give that to the Jewish people and not us? And let me tell you, why do you think it is that people say the Sabbath is done away with? Like, we don't have to worry about that anymore. That's not for Christians. That was for Jews. It all comes down to the same statement. I tell them, you don't want the Sabbath because you have to change.
Oh,
if you believe it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
The way that I think of it is the reason that people don't want the Sabbath and they want to say it was done away with, because then they think I can't keep doing what I want to do on the Sabbath.
Yeah, and like that's just like them being selfish, man. It's like, come on, man. Like God, like God just wants one day.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, well, I'm just saying, like, you know, you should have him like every day, but he just wants like one day just to be like, you know, about him and stuff like that. You know, like he just wants to be. That one day to be.
He wants us to remember he's our creator.
Yeah.
What would happen if you had a weekly date with your wife and every week you skipped out on it? If you guys had plans like this is our plan, this is our date.
Exactly.
It's like it would be like it'd be like forgetting an anniversary.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? If you guys already had a plan and a date and you skipped out on that date.
Yeah.
she would be upset. Well, this is God is our God. He's a jealous God.
I get it.
And he just wants us to take this one day and put away. And he tells us that this day is a blessing. It's not.
Yeah.
People think of it as a hindrance, and God says that his commandments are not burdensome, and it's not a hindrance. But people think, man, I'm not going to be able to listen to music this day. I'm not going to be able to go shopping. They think of what they are not able to do instead of thinking of all the stuff.
Yeah, like the big football games on that day. Like they would have to watch like the football. I don't know.
Yep. College football. Hey, college football's on Saturday. I can't miss college football.
TiVo or like whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly. But before I used to think the same way. I used to think that the Sabbath, it's hard because I want to watch my movies on the Sabbath. I want to do these things, but I didn't see the blessing in it because I wasn't keeping it. And you can't see the blessing in the Sabbath until you start keeping it. You can't, because you don't understand what it's like to be able to separate yourself from the world and just give that day to God.
Man, and like you feel so much better too, like once you give your day to God too. Like you just feel good. Like
absolutely,
and then yeah, dude, like I totally understand it, and it makes sense. Cause, like you can go there and like you can just have like no distractions. Your thoughts and like your spirit and all that is just with God.
No one's talking to you about work. You're not, because you're not going to let them. You're not going to turn on the TV to see what's going on. You believe it or not, and Tiff said this. She didn't realize how stressful it was to watch this TV. Just having the TV on, she thought it was something that was making her happy. Little did she know, it was something that was stressing her out. She didn't even notice it until she started. She couldn't wait for the Sabbath to get here so she could turn off the TV.
Right, I know.
And
wow,
what I think the thing that a lot of people miss is people say, "Well, the Sabbath is not anywhere in Genesis. It just says the seventh day," which that is absolutely ludicrous to even think that the Sabbath is not in Genesis. It's absolutely in Genesis.
Like the seventh day,
Genesis
he rested.
chapter 2, verses 1-3. Yeah, he created all things in 6 days, and he rested on the seventh day.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
It comes down to this: why the Sabbath? Why did God create this day? And he says the reason why is because in 6 days he created the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that's in them. And he rested the seventh day, and he made it holy. The Sabbath is a memorial that he did that for us.
Okay, yeah. And like also if like God needs a day to rest, I think like we all need a day to rest too.
Actually, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because God actually didn't need the rest.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, God rested as an example to us.
Yeah.
Because he wanted us to follow his example and rest just like he rested.
Yep.
So but this is the seventh day Sabbath is a memorial of creation. It's to say, hey, I've been busy these last 6 days with my work. I mean, Adam's job was to tend to the garden.
Yeah.
Right. But when God created Adam and Eve, he created them on creation day 6. They were created on day 6. So did they get a whole day of day 6? No, because he was creating them day 6. And then Adam named all the animals on creation day 6. Right.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty busy day not just for Adam. Eve wasn't created yet, but it was a busy day for Adam, right? So, and then what happens after the 6th day ends and the 7th day starts? Their first whole day that they spend with God. That was their first. They didn't do. That's how quickly God wanted to spend time with them. Wow. Think about that. Yeah. He created them on the 6th day.
Yeah.
And then the 7th day, they're already ready. They start out resting.
Yeah. Also, like there's some that like I noticed too is like this is like another thing that like that's like that's symbolism or stuff that's in the Bible too. Have you ever noticed that like so like the number 6 like represents like men, because like God created men on like the 6th day, and then like the commandments like like the 6th commandment is thou shalt not kill a man, and then also, if like you look at like sometimes when I explain this to somebody, like it's just my opinion, but like this number 6, it like looks like a baby that's like in the womb, like being made. It looks like a 6, so it's like boom, like I just like I get so excited when I like make that point, and then people are just all like, I don't see it. I was like, it's right in front of your eyes, man. Like the baby looks like a 6, like when it's and that's like another point, and that's like to me. That's just like the 666, like that's just like him, or like like the serpent or Satan. That's like mocking the Trinity, but it's like the men trying. It's like man trying to like mock or like pretty much try to be God. You know what I'm saying? But it's like mocking the Trinity kind of. I don't know. That's all.
Hey, I'm not going to disagree with you. That we're just talking about what we see when we read the Bible, and this is your experience of what you see when you read the Bible. And let me tell you that I don't disagree that numbers are very symbolic in the Bible. If you look, so on the third day, God created all the vegetation, right? The first fruits came from the ground on the third day. Jesus, who was the first fruits, resurrected and came from the ground on the third day.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? If you look in Genesis, the story of creation, you could find Christ in that story. Mm-hmm. You could find Christ in that story because why? You're looking, okay, he made on the third day, he brought forth, the first fruits came forth from the ground. And on the third day after Jesus was taken into the hands of sinners, right? Because he got captured on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Okay. Thursday night, he's captured. He's taken from trial to trial. He's beaten.
Yeah.
He's tortured. It says he was going to be in the heart of the earth, which means he was going to be in the hands of sinners.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the third day, after he was crucified, what happens? He resurrects and he comes from the ground on the third day. So even
there you go.
Even in Genesis, man, you could see the story. You could see Jesus in Genesis.
Yeah, and then wasn't Saul he blinded for he was blinded for 3 days, wasn't he? 3 days.
Oh,
and then he finally it was dude. That makes sense.
You know what else is actually really cool too? When we're talking symbolic things here. So when the Israelites were going through the wilderness, how many years do you remember were they in the wilderness for?
Wasn't it it was some ridiculous, it was 40 years, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was
40 years.
I would say it was some a ridiculous amount.
They were in the desert and they weren't supposed to be in the desert 40 years. They were in the desert for 40 years because of their disobedience.
Yeah, because they kept on worshiping idols and after he freed them, man.
So how long was Jesus in the wilderness for?
Oh yeah,
after
40 days, 40 nights, wasn't it? Or something or 40 days.
So yeah. So Jesus, if you go back and you look,
hold on, so I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. Go ahead,
freaking man. Also isn't biblical, isn't it a day, a year, that's
it says
prophecy or biblical.
The 2300 day prophecy is the 2300 year prophecy.
Yeah.
And it is a day for a year. So when you look at the 1260 the 1260 year prophecy.
Yes, yeah. So right there, it's Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness, but then compared to Moses and the Israelites, they were roaming the desert for 40 years. So it's right there is
And the difference, if you look, it's really interesting. If you look at the path Jesus walked, when Jesus walked the same path as the Israelites walked, he did the same thing. Mm-hmm. He retraced their steps, except where they failed, he was faithful. That's the difference. Every point he was tested in all the same ways that they were tested, but in every spot that they failed, Jesus was faithful. You know what I mean? This is going to trip you out. I want you to think about this. So we're going to take a walk through the sanctuary. Okay. So what happened right before Moses left with the Israelites and they went and they left Egypt? The first thing they did was they slaughtered an animal, right? They slaughtered a bull and they put the blood on the posts. So that represents Christ's crucifixion, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what happens next? They go to the what sea is that? Help me out. The Red Sea.
What?
The Red Sea.
Oh yeah, the Red Sea.
They walk to the Red Sea, and Moses parts the Red Sea. Baptism. They walk through the water, right? They're walking. The water is separated. They're walking through it, representing baptism.
Yeah.
That's the second article of furniture in the sanctuary.
And then they were freed.
So if you look at this, the first article of furniture, do you remember what the sanctuary looked like?
It was like a tabernacle.
You have an outer courtyard. As soon as you walk into the gate, the first thing in the sanctuary is the altar of sacrifice.
Yeah.
The second thing is the laver. The laver is that pool of water. Then you walk into the building, and in the building you have your table of showbread. you have your altar of incense in the middle and the head, and then to the left you have the 7 branch candlesticks, right? And then you go to the next room behind the veil and you have the most holy place. So get this, check this out. The first thing they did was they slaughtered an animal. So there's the altar of sacrifice. Then they went through baptism.
Yeah.
Symbolically,
okay,
they walked through the part of the Red Sea.
Wow.
Then what happened next? It rains manna.
Oh, yeah.
It rains manna next. What's the next article of furniture in the sanctuary? The table of showbread.
Okay.
Right? So they're walking through the sanctuary symbolically. The whole story, if you look at the story of the Exodus, it's a walk through the sanctuary. The next thing is it rains manna. Then what about after that? God tells them to get their heart prepared. Offer, pray, get prepared. You're going to meet God. You're going to meet God on the third day, right? So what are they doing? They're praying to God, altar of incense, right? And then God says, you're the Israelites. You're going to be my peculiar people. You're going to bring the light to the world. The 7 branch candlesticks. They're going to be the light to the world. This is the path that they walked. So now what happens in Exodus chapter 20? He gives them the 10 commandments. Now you're in the most holy place of the sanctuary. And what's in the most holy place? The Ark of the Covenant with the 10 commandments inside. And now they're in the most holy place, right? They just symbolically, the Israelites walked through the sanctuary. Christ is the sanctuary, right? He's the door to the sanctuary. He's the living water, he's the bread of life. So Christ is our way to salvation.
Yep.
He's our way to salvation. So
only way to the Father.
Yep.
Through him. Yeah.
That's right. So think about this. Christ being our way of salvation, the Israelites symbolically walked through the sanctuary, and they ended at getting the 10 commandments, which is in the most holy place, the very end of the sanctuary.
Yeah.
When the Catholic Church took away all of these articles of furniture by stripping Christians of their Bibles and setting
worshiping idols basically too,
right. Not only that, the Catholic Church said basically you're gonna go to the priest, ask him for forgiveness.
I know.
So the Catholic Church took away all these articles of furniture. They took away the altar of sacrifice. They took away the laver. Took away the table of showbread. They took away all the stuff. Guess what? The Protestant Reformation happened, and one by one, these things started being restored, just like the Bible said. And then what happens? In 1844, at the end of the 2300-year prophecy, the Adventist Church comes out and they restore the 10 commandments in the Sabbath day that was taken away. That is why it's so powerful to understand these prophecies.
Yeah,
because when it comes down to it, when you understand these prophecies, you start understanding that the Adventist Church has the last day message. Super powerful, man.
Yeah.
Super powerful. So, have you read the book of Daniel?
The book of Daniel. Yes, I have, man. Yes, I have. Now that, dude, I got a history book that I want to bring to you. That, dude, it like, okay, because like the statue represents like, like the right. Like the hand of bronze was like Babylon, or
you got Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome.
Dude, I will bring a history book that I have, and it has the timelines of like the kingdoms, and it's all in the same order, and like even has the
absolutely, it matches 100%.
Has like Nebuchadnezzar's in there. Yep. Cyrus is in there.
Yep, absolutely.
And all that, and like that statue, and like man, I love the book of Daniel, dude, because like that's one book that will blow all y'all's mind if y'all like read that one, dude. Like, dude, read the book of Daniel, dude. Like, that'd make you a firm believer, man. I'm telling you.
And
it's mind blowing.
That is what this is. It's going to be more mind blowing to you. I gave you that book, The Great Controversy.
Yeah.
After you finish that book, you're going to be more mind blown because you are about to see how the Adventist Church comes into this.
Okay. That's awesome.
So the book of Daniel talks. It basically walks us through, right? And it talks about the Babylon ruling and then being conquered by Medo-Persia.
Yeah.
Medo-Persia being conquered by Greece, and Greece being conquered by Rome, and then Rome is divided.
Yeah, and that's why his feet was made of clay, and because it was scattered.
Partly of clay and partly of iron.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out. Because
it was like the Europe nations, scattered like.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Listen to this.
Okay. I'm excited.
There was two groups of people back in the Roman Empire. You had the pagans and the Christians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does iron mix with clay?
I don't know.
God formed his church out of clay, symbolically in the Bible.
Yeah.
The potter's clay. He says, I formed you. He forms the church out of potter's clay. The clay represents, we're formed out of clay. We are, our bodies are.
Yeah,
now,
he made people out of
mud. The Christian church, that the church is represented by the clay.
Okay.
And the feet were made of partly of clay and partly of iron. And it says they won't cleave to one another because iron and clay do not mix.
Yeah.
That's what Daniel says. And they didn't mix, right? Those two empires didn't mix. What came out of this was the Catholic Church, right? So out of this, they had 10 total empires, and 3 were uprooted by the Catholic Church, the little horn.
Yeah.
You know, you got the little horn, but 3 of those were uprooted, and basically this tells the story of the papacy.
Yeah.
To the T.
Man, yeah. People go read the book of Daniel and like either go watch like some breakdown stuff on it, man, because like it's just right in front of your face, man, on that. And that story's amazing because King like Nebuchadnezzar, he had a dream and he couldn't remember it. So and then he had sorcerers, he had sorcerers, but they weren't getting it right, and he was killing them. And then Daniel knew that he was up. And he was real nervous, he prayed all night.
Yes.
And then God revealed it in his dream, and then he went and told
you are this head of
and Nebuchadnezzar, and he was like, that's it right there.
This head of gold.
Yeah, exactly. And
then he reveals to him all these timelines of what's going to happen.
Dude. Yeah, and then you bringing up the papacy right then and there. It's man, right there is proof. I mean, you just can't get more accurate than that, man.
and it talks, the papacy is the beast of the sea, right? They're the ones that came out of the sea.
Yeah.
There's another beast that comes out of the earth. Now the sea represents multitude, nations, tongues, lots of people, and lots of different languages, a variety of people, right?
Yeah.
The beast out of the earth is representative of a sparsely populated area. Mm. So it says that this second beast, which is rising up out of the earth, is going to be coming up as the papacy was going down. So from 538 AD to 1798, the papacy, that was the 1260-year prophecy. What nation was on the rise coming up out of the earth, sparsely populated, that just formed?
Oh, America?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, America. Yeah, that's great.
So that America is the second beast in the Bible. Man. America, they're the ones that are coming up. America is going to be the ones that in the end times that forces us to worship the papacy.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up because in God we trust, you know what I'm saying? That's what the idea of America
Two horns like a lamb and speaks like a dragon.
Yeah. And then the thing is America is just they didn't want us, it's just, America's just been, destroyed, but they had the great idea about it, but it's just they just, people just came and destroyed what it was really about, what what the forefathers wanted it to be but just America just they just didn't want it to work like that, you know what I'm saying?
Check this out. In Bible, and it says that this second beast has 2 horns like a lamb. So who's the lamb? Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So 2 horns like a lamb, but speaks like a dragon. We are a Christian nation. We say we're a Christian nation, right? That's what we were founded on, but speaks like a dragon.
Wow.
That is the United States. So we claim to be to be founded on Christian principles, but when it comes down to it in the end times, the United States is going to point people to worship the beast.
Exactly, man. That's where Hollywood, they got Hollywood and what was and the Hollywood the Hollywood tree, you know what I'm saying? People worship deck the halls with balls, Holly or whatever, and it's what happens on Christmas is where people worship that Christmas tree or Santa Claus or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, man. We can get back. Yeah, we can get into that like sometime, anyways. But,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like, there's a lot of like a symbolism.
That's
like,
all
there,
pagan. All that.
Oh yeah, dude.
Christmas is,
yeah.
but we can use those days. We can use holidays like Christmas to be able to witness to people.
Yeah.
You know, so we can use those days to glorify God. But those are pagan roots to their core. So is Easter.
Yeah.
What we have to remember is this: the second beast claims to be Christ-like. It's not going to be the government like people think it's going to be the government that is persecuting people. It's going to be the Protestants, the Protestant Christians that are saying, you're going to worship this beast because, and Ellen White talks about this. She talks about how basically they're going to say the reason that all these natural disasters are happening and the reason the world's falling apart is because God's angry. He's punishing us. And the Catholic Church is going to be who we're pointed to worship. And they're going to have the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So basically, what's going to happen is they're going to bring in a Sunday law. Satan has a counterfeit for every truth, right? He has to have a counterfeit because he has to deceive people. So for every truth that God has, Satan creates a counterfeit to deceive people. Now, he has one for people who aren't in the church. He just wants to keep them in sin. He just wants to keep them sinning.
Man.
Right? Then he has one for the church. In the end times, when everyone's worshiping the Antichrist, the one that comes in the place of Christ, and it says the whole world's worshiping, do you think the whole world would be worshiping the beast if they knew they were worshiping the beast? Do you think they would willingly be saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to worship the beast, and I'm going to get the mark of the beast, and I'm going to go to hell"?
Wow.
Of course they wouldn't.
Yeah.
People are going to be worshiping the beast because they're deceived.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, the Sabbath is God's holy day, right? And the papacy is the beast. We've already identified that the first beast is the papacy. They instituted the Sunday law back then in 321 AD. Constantine instituted it then. So if that happened, what do you think? What day do you think Satan is going to use to get people to worship him when he's claiming he's Christ? Sabbath is God's holy day. Absolutely.
Sunday. I got you. Yeah,
absolutely. You. Because everybody's believing that.
Yeah,
like it's going around everywhere.
Exactly what you're saying, like, see, yeah, I can see exactly what you're saying, man. Like, and then, you know, and it's like it's all pagan roots, like you said, like Sunday. You know, like they're worshiping the
sun god.
Yeah, the sun god. Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah, I get it, man.
It's
all right in front of our faces.
And it says in Revelation that the people are going to be beheaded. People are going to be executed for not worshiping the beast. So if you refuse to worship the beast, you're going to be killed. Who are you going to be killed by? Well, the second beast is pointing you back to the first one. It's going to be the Protestants, the Protestant churches, all the Sunday churches that are pushing this and saying that because they're going to believe that they're worshiping Christ. You have to remember. You have to think how powerful Satan is, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, you know what? Okay, like you know what? Also, something that I just now thought of. It's like some of these preachers and stuff like that, man. They go to like Bible colleges, man. They go to like colleges, like they really get in tune and like read like the Bible, the scriptures, like they really study it. And it's all like, to me, it's like I bet like a lot of these preachers know that like the Sabbath is like on Saturday, but they still like go out and like preach it. It's like they have to know because like they study the Bible, man. Like they have to know it.
They fight against it.
Wow.
They fight against it. They don't want Satan is hard at work trying to destroy the Sabbath because the Sabbath is the sign that God is the one who sanctifies you.
Yeah.
So if you're not keeping the Sabbath, the people who aren't keeping the Sabbath in the end times are the people that are going to get the mark of the beast. There's other ways you can get the mark also. It means you're not keeping God's holy law. You're not keeping his 10 commandments. But basically, that's what the mark of the beast, that's who's going to receive the mark, the people who worship the beast. Now, Satan is going to come in the place of Christ, which means he's going to look and sound like Christ. Yeah. There's going to be lightning flashing across the sky from east to west. People are going to think that it's Jesus that's here. And even the elect, if God says it, if he didn't step in, would be deceived. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to think, man, it's going to be, people are going to believe that this is Christ.
Man.
We got 1 minute.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up. My recording is going to.
That's all good, man. Yeah, dude. anyways, yeah, man, like thank you for having me again, man, bro. Like for real. But
absolutely, brother. We got to do this again. There's so much we have to talk about, man.
We're gonna do this all the time, man. Definitely, man. We're gonna keep on this going, dude, because like what you're doing is very important, man. And like I want to be a part of this, man. Like we're gonna change, man. We're gonna change this world, man. And like, dude. And it's going down. Yes. And like it's going down in Cassville, Missouri, too, man. Like right. At all places.
That's right.
What's up, man?
Well, thanks for coming by, man. Let's do this again soon.
You, man.
Thank you guys for watching.
Peace. That was awesome, dude.